Good morning and welcome to Free Grace Women Live.
Good morning.
We are excited to be here with y'all today. I am Krista and
I'm Sarah.
we're sisters.
Hi. In case you didn't know.
Yeah. So this is new for us. So bear with us as we try and figure it out today. We're just going to do kind of an introduction today and figure out what's going on here. And so we thought it'd be good to start off by introducing ourselves, telling you a little bit about us in case you don't know much about us. So Sarah, why don't you start us off?
Okay. I'm Sarah, and I was raised in a Free Grace church. And if you don't know what that means, Free Grace is... it's not a denomination, but it's a group of people that believe a theology. There you go. It's a group of people that a theology that teaches that it is faith alone in Christ alone. So you believe in Jesus for the gift of eternal life, for salvation, and that's it. No confession, no extra pieces. And that's what the Bible teaches. In the book of John, we learn that. And by the way, if you haven't been watching morning verses with us at Free Grace Bible Church online, Lucas has been going through the book of John in that, parts of the book of John. And so you can learn more about that there. But so I was raised in a Free Grace church, but and understood it from a very young age. But I really didn't put flesh on the bones of it. I mean, we studied it a lot. Don't get me wrong. I understood the difference between salvation and discipleship, but it really came into play for me just a few years ago. 3 years ago, actually, we're getting pretty close to the day. On April 16th, my husband committed suicide, took his own life. We had a 6-month-old daughter at the time. And a lot of people have asked me since then, how did you make it through? You know, how are you doing, holding up? You know, you seem to be holding up really well. My answer has always been assurance. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that when my husband took his last breath here on earth, he entered into the presence of Christ. And that is an amazing thing to think about, to know that, to have that assurance, to know that my daughter, when she believes in Jesus for eternal life, and she's only 3.5 almost, so she's, still learning and understanding things, but to know that one day she'll have the chance to meet her dad, that's an assured thing, is really cool. So anyway, so that's really what has made me even more passionate about Free Grace. And so it's really cool for us to be starting a Bible study too that is focusing on that, fleshing that out.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, me too. So obviously I also grew up in a Free Grace church and have a similar background. We had the same foundation there, and our parents have been in ministry for a number of years. And so when I went to college to be a graphic designer, I got out and I got a job as a graphic artist and was enjoying it, but I wanted to do something more. I wanted to dig in more and spiritually. And so I decided to join my dad in ministry, working for a ministry called 289 Design. And I'm still doing that today. My husband works with us too, Lucas Kitchen. And so we do this. This is part of our ministry, but also part of our ministry is creating materials to help people grow spiritually. So we have books for kids, we have books for adults, we have tracts, we have all sorts of things that we've created to help people, because our goal is to help spread the clear message of grace, a clear gospel to people. So we're doing that, but more recently, and this is kind of how we've gotten to know a lot of you, is Free Grace Studio. So we have a studio now as part of 289 Design, and we're just trying to come up with ways to reach you, especially now when everyone's stuck at home. We know a lot of people are missing out on that fellowship that they normally get at their church and with their friends. So So this is what we're doing. And another piece of 289 Design is Free Grace Women. So this started just with a few friends who are all Free Grace, and all of them are stay-at-home moms, and they wanted to, or I should say we wanted to not be idle while we're at home with our kids. Obviously, you're not idle if you're home with your kids, but I mean spiritually, you know, we didn't want to waste this time. We wanted to make sure we were still growing spiritually. And so we invited a lot of our other friends to come in, not all moms, and started a blog. And so the Free Grace Women started out as a blog here, and we have a number of different writers and contributors. Some of you watching have written for us or are planning to, and so that's really cool and exciting that we can all be together in this. And so the next piece of Free Grace Women we've added on is today doing Free Grace Women Live. Yes. So this, you know, with the blog, it's kind of like we write and we put it out and, you know, we get comments kind of thing, but it's not really an interaction. And so we wanted to do something that was more where we're learning together and we're interacting with each other. We're hearing each other's stories and growing together spiritually. So all that to say, we're so happy to be here and doing this. Lost my train of thought.
If I seem a little bit distracted, by the way, or like I'm not listening to Krista, that's not true. I'm actually trying to interact with you ladies if I can online. So y'all please feel free to say things on here. And if you've started a watch party or something, we're not going to be able to see your comments from your watch party. You need to be commenting on the Free Grace Women live feed in order for us to see them. So. Yes. Yeah, so we're not ignoring you. We just can't see it if you're if you've started your own watch party.
Yes,
so.
And I think we might be live places other than Facebook. Hopefully. We'll see. But not so sure about
We're
that.
We're still working out kinks.
Yeah, so anyway, so let's talk about what we're actually going to do here. We thought that it would be a good idea to go through Zane Hodge's book, 6 Secrets of the Christian Life, which you can get at Amazon or faithalone.com. There's Kindle, there's print versions. So encourage you to get a copy. But Sarah, why don't you tell us a bit about what this book is?
Okay. So if you have a copy like this, it's old. I mean, the content is pretty much the same, but we realized when we were like getting prepared for this that there's some things in the newer version that aren't in here. For example, there's study questions at the end of each chapter, which is really cool. Those aren't in here. So I was given this copy in 2004 when I graduated from college. So I'm showing my age. But it was given to me by some dear friends, John and Connie Clace. Some of you might be familiar with the name John Clace. He's a Free Grace writer. He has written several books about the end times, which you can find on Amazon. And if you want that, I'll post a link to that in a little bit too, so you can see that. But great guy. He really has a lot of wisdom when it comes to biblical things. So they gave me this copy. But we have been doing a Bible study at Cypress Valley Bible Church. We've been a part of that based on the book of Romans, which has been really cool. And this book has come up several times as we've been discussing Romans. And so when Krista and I were looking at doing something, we wanted something that was a good foundation with Free Grace, that was a good jumping point for us, that was not a huge book. I mean, this thing is thin. This is great. You know, it's something easy.
But don't be deceived by its
Oh, no, there's some serious content in here. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's not super wordy. If you've read any of Zane Hodge's work before, which is the author of this, sometimes he goes over my head. I mean, he's
brilliant.
A brilliant man. He has passed away, but just a brilliant writer, brilliant in explaining things, and a lot of great material out there. But anyway, this one is more simply written for those of y'all that might get tripped up with wordy words, which is what I do, obviously.
Well, it's kind of like the bones of what he's saying. And so I'm excited about that. You know, sometimes when I hear like 6 secrets, I'm like, okay, really? Yeah, are you going to just like magically give me everything I need to know. And that's, not the case. And really, like, these are just like basic principles for your Christian walk and having a successful Christian walk. And
yeah, and it's not everything that you need in your Christian walk, but these 6 principles are huge when it comes to your foundation and growing, especially maturing and growing in your faith. So I'm really excited to flesh this out with y'all, because I'll be honest, I've been reading it off and on since 2004, and I still feel like I have not fleshed this out completely. Like, there's still a lot of questions in my mind. And so we really want to hear from you ladies, your questions, your thoughts on this. I'm really excited to be doing this with all of you.
Yes, because this is a journey, and I think that's one thing that I've I've had to really, like, consciously think about lately, especially, is I'm not just going to arrive,
Yes.
with being a successful, Christian or being a good disciple. It's a journey. It's something that and it's a struggle, but it's worth the struggle. So anyway, so this book is really the bones, but by us meeting together, our hope is that we can put some meat on the bones. And that's through talking about how this applies to your specific situation. How does this apply to, and we'll share about how it, practical ways we're seeing it work in our lives and things like that. So we're really excited. I'd like to just go ahead and talk about some verses in Romans, and these are going to be in the first chapter. But it really, I think this kind of sums up these verses kind of sum up the reason why we need these 6 basic principles. And so Romans 7:22 through 24. For I delight in the law of God according to the inward man, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death? I can really relate to
Yes. I remember reading this in college and going, oh, Paul felt the same way that I do? What?
Yes. So, I mean, what about y'all? Do you relate to these verses in Romans 7 that Paul is saying? And I don't know, like, have you ever felt angry in your walk with God? I know that for me, sometimes it's like, I am trying so hard to follow the law. I'm trying so hard to grow closer, and I'm doing the opposite of what I want to do.
Yes.
Why is this happening?
I mean, and that's exactly what Paul says here, I mean, like, almost to the word, like, verbatim.
Yes. Well, when I read it, it was like, that's what.
Yeah. Yeah. He just put
I'm
into
feeling.
Words what I feel in my soul.
So, but that's not a very encouraging note to leave you on. And reading that, it's like, okay, I feel a little better knowing that I'm not alone in this struggle, but also I'm really frustrated because I don't know how to move beyond this point. I want to be moving forward and I want to be drawing closer to God, but it seems like the harder I try, the worse, I don't know, not the worse it gets, but it just doesn't happen, So, so I want to go to another verse, and this is a little bit further. This is chapter 8 and verse 18, and Paul says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." So obviously there's some hope because Paul moved forward past that, talking about that struggle and to talking about how God's glory will be revealed in us. So,
and that's so encouraging,
yes.
To know that. I mean,
there's hope.
Yes. Like, even, to see, that Paul was struggling the same way. Paul, like, the author of most of the New Testament, was struggling the same way that you and I do. And then to see, that a few verses later, here is hope, and it's assured hope. It's not like, oh, I hope it won't rain tomorrow. No, this is like a for sure thing that we have to look forward to, which is really cool.
Yes.
So,
The first chapter in Six Secrets is called The Miracle of Resurrection, which I think is really fitting, seeing as Easter is coming up. And so I'm super excited to dig into this with y'all. And if you don't have a copy of the book, or you don't have a way of getting a copy, if you want to read chapters 7 and 8 of Romans, those are a lot of the verses that are covered in this first chapter are in those books of the Bible. Those chapters of the Bible.
Yes. And y'all, I just posted, I know a lot of you are asking what's the name of the book again? How do I get it? That kind of thing. I just posted a link to it. And also you can get the Kindle app on your computer too, your desktop.
It's free.
It's free, and then you can download. It's, I think, $6 is the Kindle version, and so you just have to sign up for an Amazon account, which is free. You don't have to get, a Prime account where you have to pay. And then you can put it on there. So it's great. Even if you don't want to put it on your phone or, whatever, you can even put it on your desktop computer. Mm-hmm. I just did it this morning, and it's really easy. And so, anyway, just to answer some of your questions, because I've seen...
Do we have any other discussion on
That's what I'm looking through here.
We've had a lot of coffee, so I feel like we're talking very fast.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yes, sorry. My daughter got me up at 6:15 this morning, too, so kind of seeing double. Catherine said her son is asking for kids' time. Catherine is in Kenya, if y'all don't know. And
this was kind of her idea. She was the one that said, hey, can we do an online women's Bible study? And I was like, I don't know about it. I can't lead a Bible study.
Yeah. But here we are doing it. It was,
through a lot of prayer.
Yes.
And thinking upon it, we are here.
Yes. So, Heidi and Haley both got this book when they graduated high school in 2004. So I guess I'm the old fogey of the group here. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's awesome that y'all got that too. Same year. Megan said it feels like an uphill climb and I'm out of shape.
Yes.
What a great way to describe that. I feel the same way, So,
Well, we're excited to start working on this with you, and it feels so good to have a group, like to see this many people are here, this many women are here watching, that y'all are here with us.
Yeah.
That feels really good for me, just to know, okay, we are not alone, and we're going to dig into this together. And I'm really excited. And we can have the discussion going on the Free Grace Women Facebook page. If you haven't gone and liked it, do that and you'll get notifications when we post stuff, when we go live. But also we can have some discussion going on that group during the week of what are you learning? What are you seeing? What are you struggling with?
Yeah, and we would really like to do that. So as you're reading the book this week and getting ready, so we want you to read chapter 1, which is The Miracle of the Resurrection. It's the first one. So as you're reading that, there are discussion questions, not in this version, but in the other one, there's some questions. But if you have other questions that you're thinking about, post them on here. We would love to have those ready to talk about, as well on here. So we want you to be involved.
Yes, we do. So we're getting ready for Easter. The Miracle of the Resurrection is the chapter we're going to be studying. But this year, Easter is going to look so different for all of us. We can't do a lot of what we've done before on every other Easter that I've ever had.
Well, this day 2 years ago was Easter Sunday. I don't know if y'all know this. It popped up in my news feed. And we had 25 people over here at your house doing an Easter egg hunt. So it was all of your extended family, Lucas's extended family, my in-laws, obviously our parents.
We had 8 tables pushed together outside because there's no way that many people
could fit in my tiny
parents
house. Were there. Yeah. So, all of the siblings, all of the it was great.
Yeah. And I'm going to miss that this year. Yeah. So we have a friend, Allison, who is a writer for Free Grace Women.
Yes. Yeah. She's going to tell a teeny bit about herself in the video, but I thought I would also let y'all know. So she's a mom, and she homeschools. She also leads Portion for Orphans now, which is a free grace ministry dedicated to meeting the needs of orphans all over. So it's been very globally focused. It's looking at becoming more nationally focused, which is great. And they just actually, it's coming up to a year. I can't believe it's been a year already. But she and her husband just adopted a little girl, and who's the same age as Eiley. So they'll, and he is a contractor, and she helps him with his business, local contractor. In fact, he did an addition for me recently. So anyway, that's a little bit about Allison. She grew up in the same church we did. And so she's going to give us some ideas for what she does with her family.
Yeah, just a quick showing what she's doing with her kids this year, since it's looking a little different. So, do we have that video ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, I'm Allison Goforth, and I live in Northeast Texas with my husband Tommy and 6 kids, and they are 16 down to 3. So I just want to share a few things that we do for Easter. We always do the resurrection eggs. So we'll start these today, actually. There are 12 eggs. You open the last one on Easter morning, and we just go through, do one a day, and usually go by the little book that comes with it, and sometimes I add a few things. Anyways, just open it, and we pass what's inside around. They were kind of mixed up. I'm not even sure if these are correct. I have to go through and check on, but and then also each subsequent day you can pass it and start from the beginning and see if the kids remember the story. So we enjoy those every year. Some books that we have that I sit out that we read. Story of Passover, it's a little board book. Parable of the Lily, which is fun. Actually planted some lilies this weekend, so we'll be able to watch those. Berenstain Bears First Easter, another Easter story book. Berenstain Bears. This little one, The First Easter Ever. I like that one. This one's a good one, The Thorn Bush. And then this one, which we actually use at Christmas and Easter, The Tale of Three Trees, that we really like. So a few Easter books that we sit out to read. And then something that we added in last year that we do is actually doing a Passover celebration. So I have this book, Celebrating Biblical Feasts, and you can go online and do a little printout. It kind of goes through what is Passover, and then we have a special Passover meal. So we'll do that again this year. We really enjoyed that special meal last year. And then we also do the resurrection resurrection rolls. The night before Easter, we sit those out and make those and talk about the Easter story, and then they're ready to eat on Easter morning. And a resurrection garden. We make those every year. So we haven't done those yet, but that's fun. You can look those up online. Just a little bottom of a planter, and put some dirt and a little tomb and some rocks and some plants, and we do those every year. So those are a few things we do, and then we'll enjoy Easter service online and have a nice meal. So that's what we're going to do for Easter this year.
Right. Thank you, Allison, for sharing those ideas with us. I know I'm going to check out some of those. I really liked the idea of the garden. I've never heard of that. So
yes.
I'm going to have to look that one up, because that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting pretty close to 30 minutes, and I think that's kind of the time slot that we're going to shoot for, because I know probably, most of you have kids at home with you, or you have work you might have to get to. So, but I want to just leave us with that Romans 8, verse 18. Sarah, do you want to read that for us again?
Yes. For I consider that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
So let's, meditate on those words this week. And as you're reading through that first chapter, just take notes, look at the study questions at the end. We might discuss some other questions, but I feel like it was a lot of me and Sarah talking today, telling you about us. So I'm looking forward to next week when we get to hear more from you and hear about you. So Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and feel free to keep commenting on the
Yeah.
video and talking and stuff, and we'll interact a little bit more after this is all over. It's a little hard to communicate
Yes.
multiple ways at the same time, but
Yeah.
we're learning, we're getting
Yeah.
there. So, and any suggestions that you guys have, prayer requests, we would love to know how we
Yeah.
can pray for you specifically right now. So,
Definitely.
and I think that it's really cool that we're talking to people across the globe
Yes.
that we're going to be spending eternity with. How encouraging is that?
Yeah.
So thank you, ladies, so much for participating with us today. We're looking forward to studying with you for sure.
Yeah. So we will see you next week.
Yeah. Love y'all.